Okay, everybody. Well, you're in for a real treat today. I know many of you enjoyed the last video I made of the GE Potscrubber that I got last year, and today we are going to be doing its first official full load since I've had it, and we're going to see exactly how it does. Over here I have JK18 helping out with me today, and we're going to do basically just as it says. We're going to do a regular wash cycle, just so you can see. We're going to do normal wash, and we're going to do heated dry this time, just to give the same kind of test that the Gen Air upstairs, the 2016 one, will use. Now let me just go ahead and open it up and show you what we got inside. So, you can see it's pretty well loaded up. The way we did this was I took the racks upstairs, transferred all the dishes and stuff to the racks, and then carried them back down here and put them in. And yeah, as you can see, we got some dirty stuff. So, yeah, so we're going to see how all that goes.
Yeah, I also wanted to mention, after Sharky and I loaded this in here, you've heard of those people who don't wash the dishes all the time and their kitchen sink turns into the kitchen stink. This thing is in for a real meal this time.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Woo, that's good stuff in there. So
yeah, so I'm going to, do you want to just hold it back so it doesn't tip forward? I'll show what's on the lower rack.
Sure.
Yeah, and maybe like hold it from here too. All right, cool. So on here we have, yeah, you see we have plenty of dirty dishes, a couple of coffee mugs, butter dispenser, dishes over here too. The utensils, you can see there's tons of stuff on there. For those of you who don't like seeing this stuff, I am sorry, but I'm just showing you what we're washing and going to be washing in here.
So this way you can see how clean it turns out.
Oh yeah, exactly. And some glasses down here. I will say, you may think that this bottom rack doesn't give you all that much room because of, like, you have the wash tower that you got to keep clear and stuff like that. But I mean, if you look at this top rack right here, okay, all these glasses fit beautifully on each side of the rack, all right? If I was to use the upper rack on the Gen Air dishwasher upstairs, like, these glasses wouldn't fit on the sides. They have to be all in the middle, lined up properly. This top rack really gives you a lot more space than you would think. Like, I have a big bowl up there. There's a pizza cutter, which looks like something very familiar, of course. Got a couple of small containers, some tongs. That's a syrup dispenser, a glass, a funnel. Yeah, all these glasses fit just beautifully on the side here. I really was amazed by that. So
it's really amazing how deep the top rack on this is. I mean, we were both impressed. We were like, wow, it didn't fit in the other dishwasher that nice.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's really deep. Maybe that's why it's called a pot scrubber.
Yeah, maybe. Could be onto something there.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's really absolutely fascinating. So yeah, so I'm just really glad that all these glasses, this is basically our full thing of regular size glasses. So you can put these on the side and you can fit more stuff, bowls, whatever you want in the middle. So this dishwasher really does look very good, I have to say. So what we'll do is, let me just put that back in. Put that back, okay. Yeah, this thing's going to be in for a real treat, definitely. And we're also going to be using the watt meter so we can see exactly what this uses, or lack thereof, so you can get some nice electricity usage with the vintage dishwasher, which definitely will put you in for a surprise, that's for sure.
Although I don't condone the use of the leading national brand, different strokes for different folks, Willis.
Exactly. So yeah, so this is what we're going to use. We're going to use the rinse aid, of course, the Cascade rinse aid. And yes, I am going to be using these detergent packs. And just want to tell you ahead of time, guys, please don't start leaving comments about how, like, oh, you shouldn't use detergent packs. This person made that video, that person made that video, okay? I've been using these now for about 7 to 8 years, even back at the Long Island house. Never had a problem, all right? So please, just save your comments. I don't want to hear it. We haven't had any problems with these. We're going to use it. It'll be fine. Now, obviously, of course, the best way to get the best top water is to purge the water line. And the way I'm going to do that is, some of you may remember I have this hose here. And this hose goes over to the hot water pipe for the cabana. So the best thing that I can possibly do is I'm going to go to the cabana, purge the hot water line with the sink. So the hot water will be just around here when it gets time to turn it on. And then obviously once this is all nice and purged, this water will stay nice and hot for a while. And then it shouldn't take too long for the hot water to get over to the dishwasher, just so that way it washes everything properly, And don't start telling me, oh, use cold water in your dishwasher, it heats it up. No, it doesn't happen here, okay? That's just ridiculous. All right, so we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to go purge the hot water line, plug in the watt meter, reset the kilowatt hours, and get it going, and we'll see just how this does. Okay, we are ready to get started. So I put rinse aid in. Here's the detergent pack. Normally you only have to use one, but since when I had a pot scrubber, We did use the pre-wash thing too. I am going to use a second one. No, I'm not worried about it over sudsing because after the first pre-wash, it always does 2 rinses. So it should be all cleared by then. So this is pretty interesting. So I'm just going to pop this like right around in here, I guess. That should be fine. Just like that. Okay. And then what's interesting is when you close the dispenser with the door down and then put the door up, that's kind of how it preps this. It's interesting how that whole thing works. But yeah, let's go ahead and close this up. That closed nicely. Close the door. And latch it up. And just before we begin, we'll show the watt meter. Currently all at 0, so we are ready to begin. So once again, normal wash, heated dry, and here we go. And we will wait for the water to get in. So right now, motor with no water, about 206, 207.
Suspense, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh yeah,
Suspense.
always the suspense.
Wow, you can hear that motor.
Oh yeah. Now, if you notice, you're not really hearing as much on the plastic this time because it's full of dishes and it's got detergent in it, so it's going to be a little bit quieter than it normally is. Now listen to the vent. Yeah, we can actually hear just a little bit more noise than last time because I meant to say this vent actually doesn't close. I think what was happening last time was I think there was just so much water hitting against the vent that it was kind of muffling it, so that's kind of what happened. Yeah, so far it sounds good. And over here, right now the heating coil came on. It usually comes on for the first for the very first pre-wash. So with the pump pumping water and with the coil on, we got 737. There's the kilowatt hours. I'll tell you right now, when the coil's on the 2016 Gen Air, it's like 800 something watts, so we're already using a little bit less here, definitely. Doing its thing. But we'll just keep going here, just because when the first drain happens, I want to show you the hose just to see what the water looks like. I'm sure it's pretty dirty. Actually, as a matter of fact, you may notice that the upper spray arm, the top spray arm hose is a little bit more orange. Probably because there's some pretty dirty water going through there right now. But no, it sounds good. Motor sounds good. Sounds very normal.
Yeah, you would know better than I would because I never had one, but
right,
certainly
yeah.
with loaded dishes in there and all that extra gunk going through it, it sounds definitely different than
it does than it did in the test videos. Yeah.
Most certainly in labor now.
Hey, you can also hear dishes in there a little bit. I'm sure that's perfectly normal. Well, it's a lot quieter with dishes in there. Really, it's amazing.
Just imagine what it would be like, in a proper installation in a kitchen with the insulating blanket
Yeah.
and in a cabinet and that.
Yeah, it wouldn't be that bad at
So
all.
loud, I can't even hear you.
Exactly. All right, let's see how the water looks. Oh yeah, that's some cloudy water right there. Hey, you actually smell the detergent a little bit too. Nice. Very nice. Now, for those of you who don't know how the drain valve actually works, the way it works is the solenoid does energize, and it stays energized for most of the drain. And then I'd say for the last 10 seconds or so of drain, the solenoid will actually turn off, but the water pressure itself is what keeps the drain valve open. And then once it drains out, there's a spring that forces it closed. So that's actually how it works for those of you who don't actually know that. So the water pressure itself is what keeps it open past a certain point, and then once it's out, it just naturally closes. And we're filling for the first or second thing. Okay. And now here's what it looks like when it's pumping without the coil. We have just about 303 watts. Yeah, really not bad at all. When it's under load and it's pumping and no heating coil, that's not bad at all. Really not. Just a little bit more noise than would normally be. And here's where we are. And that's what it is when the water drains out. Now, did you notice how it went from like 350 to like about 300? Right there is where the solenoid de-energized and the valve was kept open by the water pressure. Pretty cool how you can actually see that. Now it's going to do one more, and then it's going to go to the main wash. This thing is sounding great. And here's where we are with just pumping with no coil. Yeah, we're just feeling the top here. Definitely warm, but yeah, wow. I mean, when this was empty with no load, the water was just hitting against this plastic. It's amazing just how much of a difference all the dishes make. And I think, and the coil's back on, as you can see. And just again, here's what we're using. Even with the dishes in there, you can just hear how, just the force of that water, you know? It's amazing.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's the whole point. Essentially, as I've said many times before, a dishwasher is nothing more than a pressure washer in a box.
Yeah.
And that's how the dishes get clean. Just sprays them and sprays them and sprays them until they're clean. And of course, what's great about this is there's no computers, no nothing. So it's basically guesswork. But that was part of the design phase at GE, because they figured out how long each cycle should run for, each rinse should run for, each wash cycle, etc., to get the best performance out of it. So there was actually a lot of research and development instead of just writing software code and letting the machine guess like they do nowadays.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
No error codes here.
Oh, definitely not. None whatsoever. Very, very nice. All right, now it's going to go to the main wash, and obviously this, once it fills and it gets going for a little bit, you'll hear the detergent dispenser open up. So it is kind of cool how, like, you know, when it's 90 degrees from the off position, that's pretty much when it's in the main wash. It would be kind of cool if they had like a main wash thing there, but I guess because they wouldn't want people to turn the timer to just there or something. That's my guess anyway. And momentarily, the detergent dispenser should open. Get this out of the picture here. Didn't do so well there. There we go. Oh, there it was. Just opened up. Alright, so what we'll do now is we'll take a little break here. This is going to go until it gets down to just about the 6 o'clock position. And when it gets to near that part of the cycle, we will come back. Alrighty, we are getting towards the end of the main wash. Should be there pretty soon. Alrighty, and we will get to the first rinse. Sounds very smooth, really does. That's basically what it's doing as it's filling, though maybe you'd like to see that. But yeah, so far this thing is doing great. Oh yeah, nice and warm now. I really wouldn't be surprised if everything's clean already, you know?
Oh, I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
The rest of the cycles and the portion of the cycles is just there for show.
Oh yeah. Just some more fun noise to work with. Actually, the hose looks a little bit less orange now, so yeah, water's definitely cleaner.
I will say that the Potscrubber has a very distinct sound compared to other dishwashers. Like I have a KitchenAid and a Whirlpool, sound absolutely nothing like this.
Right,
So it
yeah.
has a very unique sound, but that is what you're going to find,
Yeah.
you know, amongst different brands. But it's just amazing how different, yet the results are, for the most part, the same.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I'll try to get the drain hose in the picture. I just love how the hose goes back up like that when it empties out. Now, this is the second rinse, and this will be this is like the shortest of them all. I think it runs for like about a minute or 2 minutes, and then it goes to drain. And then the third rinse is the final rinse with the coil and the rinse aid. And here's something interesting. That's with the coil and the motor not under load. Pretty cool, huh? Right, so now alright, the coil just turned off. It'll come back on momentarily, probably. And then, yep, this is the final rinse with the rinse aid. So yeah, the final rinse and the main wash definitely do take a little bit more water. That's probably to properly dilute or dissolve, whatever you want to call it, the rinse aid and the detergent, which I guess makes sense. I think it might have dispensed. It's hard to hear sometimes. But more so than when it opened. Oh, there it goes, right there. It just dispensed. You may not have seen it on camera, but the timer actually jumped just a tad when that dispenser fully opened. That was kind of cool. Yeah, so now it dispensed the rinse aid. And here's where we're at. Oh, that is clean looking water. Very clear. Very nice. Alrighty. So momentarily, we're going to go to the drain, the dry cycle. Alrighty. So there we go.
Rather abrupt end.
Yeah, it just kind of stops there, you know?
Stops.
So right now what we're going to do is, right now the coil hasn't come back on yet, but it will momentarily. So it uses about 400 some watts with the coil going, without the motor. So yeah, I'm pretty sure everything in there is going to be very nice and clean.
Steam coming out. I don't
Yeah,
know if
maybe.
you can tell. Probably
Yeah.
won't be able to pick that up.
Yeah,
And I don't have any.
a little bit. You can see it a little bit. Yeah, steam coming out. Actually, I think
Oh, here.
oh, there you go.
Maybe against that you can see it.
A little bit. Yeah, I think the coil just came on, so let's see what we got. Yep, that's what it pulls with just the coil by itself. Alright, so what we'll do is we'll go ahead, we're not going to sit here for the drying cycle because nothing's going to happen, but we will go ahead and let this dry, and then we will open it up and see how everything turned out. Alright everyone, so the drying cycle has finished. In fact, it finished about maybe roughly 40 minutes ago. We just let it cool down. And so let's go ahead and have a look inside and see how everything looks. Yes, you want to just hold the machine back. Alright. Okay.
Do that and I'll hold it here.
Yep. Alright. Oh, wow. Everything looks like sparkling clean. Alright. Well, here's the glasses. The, remember the pizza cutter? That's all totally shiny. Absolutely fantastic job. Here's the other glasses. Very, very nice. Now let's go ahead and pull out the bottom rack now. Oh yeah, look at the utensils even. That is clean stuff. Remember that bowl? These two as well. Whoop. I'd say this thing did a phenomenal job.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah,
There's no question. I mean, an old dishwasher that uses the proper amount of water and doesn't play games with running different spray arms because it can't take enough water to actually do a reasonable wash. What do you expect?
Yeah, I know, right?
Really, what do you expect? Like, for example, if you don't drink enough water every day and you end up being very dehydrated, what did you expect?
I know, right?
It's
Exactly.
ridiculous. It's ridiculous what they do nowadays. In as much as environmental protection and saving the planet and all that stuff. And what are we doing? We're wasting electricity. We are using other detergents, possibly more harmful chemicals that they'll find out about in 20 years.
Right.
Just like how we used to have phosphates in dishwashing detergent, and that had to go away because some politician was paid off to outlaw them. So it's the same kind of idea. Every time they solve one problem, they create 7 more in its place. So if you think dishwashers are bad now in 2021, give it 20 more years.
Oh yeah. Just keep holding it there. Yeah, so just another quick look around. I mean, look at that. There is like these big spoons have a lot of stuff on them. Like there is nothing left on them. Absolutely amazing. Like you can see like the reflection even.
And the machine didn't even have to do any labor because it didn't have to scrub a pot.
Exactly. So I definitely say I think this machine is a winner, guys. Definitely did the job that it was supposed to do. Alright, and here's what we used. Right now the voltage is a little bit lower because the dehumidifier is running. Now just for the record, I unplugged the dehumidifier before we ran this, so everything was as good as it could be. So right now it's using nothing because it's completely off. Mechanical controls, of course.
Yes.
So
you won't have that in a newer washer because that always has to have power. Just to sit there and wait for you to press a button so it can play a silly song before it's going to think about not washing the dishes anyway.
yeah, exactly.
And I've calculated in the past how much electricity that actually uses. Over the course of a year, you can probably get 5, 6, 7, maybe even 10 washes out of this machine, just out of the standby power from modern machine. That's saving the planet.
Oh, totally. And you can see right here, we used 0.64 kilowatt hours, which really, so we used normal wash with hot water, of course, and heated dry. And if I recall correctly, did the water heater like cycle at all when this filled?
Not that I recall.
If it did it once, and that was it. So 0.64 kilowatt hours. So that is like nothing. So we'll just throw a figure out here. If you're paying 20 cents for a kilowatt hour, that would be like roughly
11, 12 cents.
11, 12 cents
without figuring exactly. So 11 or 12 cents for an entire load of dishes.
Yep.
That
something like
really
this.
didn't cost much. So in the on the order of trying to save electricity and fossil fuels, how is running a dishwasher for 6 hours to get a load of dishes done more efficient? Especially when the heating elements are really the biggest part of it to dry the dishes. And even still, it's not a lot of money because if you consider the drying cycle ran for, what did we say, about 25 minutes?
It's about 25 minutes, yeah.
So 25 minutes, and it used 370 watts somewhere.
It was like 400 something, I think.
400 something. Okay,
Yeah.
so it used less than half a kilowatt for less than half an hour. A couple of pennies,
Yeah,
just
exactly.
like 2 cents. And I don't know too many people who run an entire dishwasher cycle every single day. Might go 2-3 days, depending on how big the family is, of course.
Yeah.
But 2 or 3 cents a week times, let's say 3 loads, so 8 cents a week will be generous. In 2021, I think just about anybody can afford that.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
Definitely. So there you guys have it. So you finally got your first full load cycle of this dishwasher. I'm sure some of you wanted to do it for a while. I wanted to do it for a while, and it finally got done. So I think it's safe to say this machine performed extremely well, and it's a winner. Thank you very much for watching, and take care.